It seems like no matter what DC does, they can never do a live action Green Lantern. Ever. And it's ruined the character for the past 20 fucking years. Now I know it may be very hard to hear, but Green Lantern was actually very popular.
Harvey. No.
Before 2011, before the shitty fucking 2011 movie with Ryan Reynolds. And he was one of DC's top selling comic books at the time, mostly due to Green Lantern Rebirth and the help with Jeff Johns, along with Green Lantern Corps and all that by Peter J. Tomasi and Patrick Gleason. He was dead for a decade beforehand, before 2004, and that's what we're going to be talking about now. And then later in the video, we're going to be talking about Green Lantern Rebirth. Hal Jordan's Fall from Heaven started with Emerald Twilight in 1994, and it's much more impactful than I'm going to let on. But I want to do a separate video about that storyline. But for now, it shows Hal Jordan going crazy and turned evil due to the destruction of Coast City at the hands of Cyborg, Superman, and Mongol at the end of Return of Superman. And due to that, Hal Jordan strives for more power so he can recreate Coast City and in his eyes set things right and to undo the loss he had been dealt. And due to that, he went on a killing spree of lanterns as he went to Oa, the base of the Green Lanterns, to take all the power from the central power battery. That power powers all Green Lanterns. But when he reached Oa, he has to face off Kilowog, one of his best friends and mentors. And after defeating him, the Guardians released Sinestro to defeat Jordan, but with 13 power rings from the defeated Green Lanterns that he had just defeated, he easily overpowers Sinestro's and breaks his neck. After Kilowog makes one last attempt to stop Hal, he pulverizes Kilowog, leaving only a skeleton. As Hal realizes what he does, he begs for forgiveness from his late friend, telling him it wasn't supposed to be like this. But he tells the Guardians that it's too late for him to stop, too late for redemption, too late for any hope of a happy ending. Takes off his ring, saying he doesn't deserve it anymore, and as he enters the power battery, draining it and effectively destroying the Green Lantern Corps, he becomes Parallax, a multiversal level threat, which you'll see later on. But however, there's a light in the story as the Guardians turn to Ganthet, one of the other Guardians, leaving all their power to him and one ring for him to give to someone, and that someone was Kyle Rayner. Now, as I said before, Parallax was a multiversal level threat whose power was stupidly fucking strong, stronger than the Spectre and all other beings. Now, he was able to warp reality and time, as you'll see in Zero Hour in 1995, and it's Parallax's next big appearance, and it's very long and complicated. It's a long and complicated event which deserves its own video, so all I'll say is that Parallax wanted to start time and recreate the world in his own image, but was stopped by Kyle Rayner with the help from Green Arrow and every major DC hero at that time. After his defeat in Zero Hour, he seemingly went less crazy, gained some lucidity, and wanted to have a redemption as he healed John Stewart's broken back, revived Green Arrow, who got blown the fuck up out of an airplane. But the biggest sign that he gained some actual fucking common sense was during the time during Final Night in 1996, where the Sun Eater destroyed the sun and blocked out the sun, and Hal Jordan destroyed the Sun Eater, letting every ounce of energy that he had in him reignite the sun, leading to his death. And then after, all the heroes had a funeral for him, and this was the end of Hal Jordan pretty much for like a year or two until the Day of Judgment and the Spectre. Now, after Hal Jordan died, the Spectre had no host until Hal Jordan came along, well, in his line of sight pretty much, and became the new host of the Spectre. However, Hal Jordan tried to not really mess up Spectre's mission of vengeance, but used it as a vehicle for his redemption as he used the powers of the Spectre to help old friends like Carol, as he used his powers to heal her of her Sapphire personality. But the Spectre most of the time overpowered any human traits Hal tried to push onto the Spectre. And this all sets up Green Lantern Rebirth in 2004. Now, the story starts off in New Mexico as a spacecraft suddenly falls out of the sky, crashing near two hikers. And inside, they find Kyle Rayner injured. And then he tells them a cryptic message about not being scared and all of that. And then collapse the near a long green, like a object of sorts that appears to be a coffin. Meanwhile, like a series of events start to occur, like in Star City. Green Lantern and Speedy are attacked at their training facility by the Black Hand, and then the Spectre, who is Hal Jordan, comes and cuts off and cauterizes his right hand. And then Jordan tells Oliver Queen that something feels wrong, and that and then Oliver explains that Hal Jordan gave him a power ring in an event of an emergency. Later on, John Stewart, Guy Gardner are visited by Jordan at a baseball game, and then after the game, uh, Guy Gardner and John Stewart head to a bar where Gardner starts. Well, by the way, I should mention Guy Gardner isn't a Green Lantern anymore. He's like this alien shape-shifting like monster because he has alien. I don't know what the fuck DC were thinking with him, but he starts losing control of his alien physiology shit, and then he's taken to the Justice League for treatment. While on the other hand, in the ruins of Coast City, uh, two pilots witness a single building restored, and that is Hal Jordan's old home. Then Wonder Woman and the JSA investigate and find that a statue of Jordan is the only thing that remains. When they report this to the League, Batman voices his suspicions that these are all connected to Hal Jordan somehow. And then Green Arrow appears with Jordan's power ring and recounts the encounter with Hal Jordan, and then Batman believes his suspicions are confirmed. While while at the very end, the last page is Hal Jordan visiting Carol at the airport. Well, airfield, I should say. Now we go back to New Mexico with Kyle Rayner still in the care of these hikers that found him after the crash. Now, Rayner remains incapacitated, but his power ring keeps on repeating the message, Parallax is coming, Parallax is coming. And then Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, all the Justice League, and John Stewart locate Jordan in the airfield and go to confront him. Now he's with Carol at this time, and Jordan insists that he is not responsible for the restoration of Coast City. And then out of nowhere, John Stewart goes berserk, and starts attacking these other heroes. Now, while he does so, his ring starts saying Parallax is coming, and repeatedly saying that. Now at the Justice League Watchtower, the ring that was brought by Oliver Queen, Green Arrow, duplicates itself and places it on by itself on Guy Gardner's finger, restoring him as a Green Lantern, which was this cool ass panel. But anyway, back in New Mexico, Kilowog, who is alive, he was brought back to life, of course, appears and like starts attacking Kyle, just like how John is with the Justice League. Now, Ganthet comes up and stops Kilowog. Now, Ganthet goes to confront Kilowog as he's attempting to protect the coffin, and then it's revealed that that coffin holds the corpse of Hal Jordan. And as Ganthet and Kilowog fight, Kyle Rayner feels something in his power ring, and it's revealed that it's trying to take over his will, like the other Green Lanterns have been experiencing, like John and all that. Now, Ganthet teleports Rayner and Jordan's body to the Justice League Watchtower, and then we go to the Coast City as Jordan investigates the reappearance of his home, and then he's confronted by a vision of Parallax. Now, the vision is more than that. It's the vision is more than that, and it begins a battle of integrity or will, I guess you can say, with the Spectre, who's also inside of Hal Jordan, and that's what she said. As both are bonded to Jordan's soul, both are. Now at the Watchtower, Rayner tells the Parallax tale of this entity for Oliver Queen, and it's revealed that Parallax isn't Hal Jordan. Parallax is the embodiment of fear, this parasitic thing that it can infect hosts, and it's the living embodiment of fear. And Parallax used Sinestro. They both used each other pretty much to break Hal Jordan down, to make him the enemy, and to have Parallax infect Jordan. And the last thing that Parallax did was make an illusion of Sinestro for Jordan to fight. And as Jordan kills Sinestro, that's the moment where Parallax was able to infect Jordan, and that's when he became a villain. So, and even before then, like the Great Temples, all of that was Parallax slowly influencing Hal Jordan and slowly putting him down on that path. And Parallax was in the central power battery of Oa, and as Jordan walked in, that's how he got completely taken over by Parallax. And little fact, that is why yellow was a weakness of Green Lanterns before, because Parallax was in the power battery, as the Guardians of the Universe imprisoned Parallax in the power battery. Now, after the story was told by Kyle, the Spectre tells Jordan that he chose him to instill the hope that he would be able to eradicate Parallax from Jordan. However, Parallax emerges from Jordan, taking control of him yet again. Now, right after Kyle finished telling the story to Oliver Queen, they get attacked by yellow constructs of arrows and all that. And they look behind him and they see none other than Sinestro himself. Now Kyle, shocked, says that he's dead. He knows that Hal Jordan killed him, and this is where Sinestro reveals that it was a stage, it was fake, that Parallax constructed that to break his will. And Sinestro helped because he wanted Hal Jordan to be the Renegade again, just like how they treated Sinestro when he first betrayed the corpse. Now, Parallax starts destroying the city again and goes to Ganthet. Now, Ganthet has freed Kilowog, and soon after, John and Guy from Parallax's influence, turning them not as insane. Now, this cool moment happens where Ganthet says that Parallax has made so many enemies in Sector 2814, which is Earth and the Milky Way, I guess. Now, Parallax says, "You think I can't handle 3 of your corpse members, Guardian?" And Ganthet only says, "I speak not of my appointed representatives." And then it cuts to the Teen Titans, the Justice Society of America, the Justice League of America, all these people that Parallax has hurt, ready to kick some fucking ass. And it's one of the coolest panels that I have seen in a Green Lantern comic. Another great scene is right before Sinestro kills or tries to kill Kyle. Green Arrow puts on the ring, says the infamous oath, and Sinestro is saying things like, now Hal Jordan's memory is spat on. He has no friends. Even Oliver Queen, you, his best friend, betrayed him with your own bow and arrow. He has no one left that believes in him, no one that can help him. And then Green Arrow uses the ring, saying, yes, he does, and shoots one single arrow at Sinestro, which fucking drains every life out of him due to him not having the will as Kyle does or Hal Jordan does. But it serves as another amazing moment in this comic. And this gave Kyle enough time to get Oliver. Now, as the Justice Society and the Justice League and all that starts fighting Parallax, they don't know that Parallax is separate from Jordan. They think it's Hal Jordan doing all these things, but they soon realize that he's infected and he was never truly evil. And Hal, in the midst of all this, is begging the Spectre, not even begging, demanding him to fight it and fight Parallax. And then Ganthet says that he chose the wrong soul to corrupt. And as Hal Jordan peels away the Parallax away from his body, metaphorically and pretty much physically, because he's ripping himself in half, Spectre comes out, releasing Parallax, asking them to destroy Parallax, help him destroy Parallax. And Hal Jordan starts going to the light, and he sees Abin Sur, his father, all these people who have died, people who he's killed, and people who died beforehand. He sees a light. He's going to the afterlife, but Ganthet redirects him into his body with his power ring. His body transforms. The gray is gone, and he stands up, telling Sinestro to get the fuck away from Kyle, and a battle ensues. We then see Hal Jordan and Sinestro fighting over the oath, what it meant, and how Sinestro abandoned it, and how Jordan doesn't believe in vengeance, how Sinestro wanted vengeance against him and the corpse. And Sinestro reminds him that he was vengeance for a long time, and he is a murderer. Sinestro made him a murderer. And then we cut back to the past, to where Sinestro was still in the Green Lantern Corps, and when Hal Jordan had just joined. And then we cut back to Sinestro talking crap about Kyle Rayner, saying how he'll slice Kyle's chest open and rip out his heart, and Jordan having the utmost respect for Kyle for carrying the torch after he died when no one else could, no one else wanted to. It was just Kyle for a long time, and Hal was evil. He was not able to carry the torch. He says, no, you will respect him. And then Kyle shows up, attacking Sinestro, and then a clash breaks Sinestro's ring, sending him back to the antimatter universe. And then we get this amazing moment of Hal Jordan and Kal Rayner, both members of the Green Lantern Corps. Hal Jordan, once again, after a long time, they finally reintroduce each other, and they say after that they say that they need to go back to Earth and get rid of Parallax. And Parallax has now infected Ganthet, and none of the other Green Lanterns can use their rings as they are infected with Parallax. And right before, and as soon as Kyle and Green Lantern, well, Hal Jordan, I should say, start attacking Parallax, Batman, in a very dumb, and even me as a big Batman fan, it's pretty fucking stupid. He wraps his grappling hook around Hal Jordan and says, "You're not doing anything as long as he's there," because he still doesn't trust Hal Jordan, which I get, but Jesus Christ, man. Hal Jordan shrugs it off, says, "Figure it out," as Batman demands an explanation. And Hal Jordan says that there are riots breaking out in Los Angeles, close by cities, saying that Parallax is already influencing other people. And then Batman grabs Jordan, says that we're not done, and then Jordan sucker punches Batman, which seems to be a habit between them two. Not even just Hal Jordan, but any Green Lantern. Batman and Green Lanterns do not mix. Now, Kyle, Jordan, Gardner, and Stewart both free Ganthet from Parallax's control, and then imprison him back into the Central Power Battery on Oa. And then after that, the Guardians then announce that it's time to rebuild the Green Lantern Corps with Hal Jordan, John Stewart, Kyle, all the others to help bring more Green Lanterns into the Corps. And that sets up Green Lantern Corps Recharge, I believe is what it's called. But after the battle, Batman isn't entirely convinced that Jordan was, not responsible. And Hal Jordan pretty much says, "I don't really care what you think. It doesn't matter. I wasn't totally at fault for Parallax, and it was indeed Parallax." But Batman decides that and says that the universe needs a little more light. And then later, Jordan reestablishes his relationship with Ferris, not romantic, but as a friend, as she decides to open up the Ferris airfield. Very end, at Belle Reve, Hector Hammond, one of Hal Jordan's biggest enemies, senses that Jordan's alive and is happy to, and awaits the opportunity to fight him once again. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like, comment, and subscribe, and give me recommendations if there's a certain storyline that you want me to read or go over or anything like that, any video ideas. But I'll see you next time, probably about a week from now. I'm gonna try and upload every Friday, but see you guys later.